everyone, this is Peg for Life. In today's P4 review, we'll be taking a look at VooDoo Robots Potion Series PS-01 Salus. This is their version of a Masterpiece Ratchet. We previously saw a version of this mold for Animus, their Ironhide, in the Diaclone Deco as a convention exclusive, but this is their first retail release. Quickly, this is a pre-production sample, so things are likely to change before the retail release. But by and large, it looks like a final retail version. I even got this box here, so let's go ahead and get started with packaging review. So taking a look at the packaging, it's actually lengthwise or portrait as opposed to landscape, which we saw before, and has really nice artwork, comic book style artwork of an MP Ratchet with his gun. Really nicely done. I really like it. It has kind of this nice blue metallic, not metallic, but glowing mechanic detail going around, but very nicely done. We see the VooDoo Robots symbol around that side. Around here we just see kind of a blueprint on the alt mode, and then just Salus. On the other side we see more of that same artwork, but just kind of the head. On the top we just see a big cauldron with bubbles coming out, and again more Salus. On the bottom, another cauldron with the VooDoo logo and some warning labels. And then, let's see, on the back, we get a short bio talking about how this is the first of the potion series and that he is a healing potion, blah, 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 blah. You guys can read that if you'd like. And then we get some nice images of him in alt and robot mode. But very basic packaging, but it's really compact. If you guys saw the Diaclone one, you can see it's a very small box. I would say it's thicker than a Masterpiece box, but probably a little bit smaller in other dimensions. So here we have Salus out of the box. He's in a clamshell. He also comes with a few different items, including his accessories. So he has a kind of a grayish blue, like slate colored gun and a silver gun, as well as these little pieces which are the filler kit. I have detailed instructions on how to put these in. I'll do that off camera, but yeah, you can click the link that's floating around here on how to fill this in. In addition to that, we have the filler kit instructions, which are very tiny. It has the numbers. Again, you can check the instructions. We'll open up this little baggie to see that we do get a kind of bio card or spec card, whatever you want to call it. And it's a different artwork than the one in front. It's a little more like watercolory, which looks really cool, kind of sketchy. It says Potion Series Healing, and that has some stats on the back. And very much this is more of a new style Masterpiece card, not the old one with the kind of uniform artwork on the front. In addition to that, we do get some instructions. So these are the same instructions. I think they're the exact same instructions, because if I remember correctly, the Diaclone version had the Ratchet instructions. So again, the instructions I think are pretty good. They're just really tiny, but they do a good job. So green means what you're supposed to move, and red means kind of the finished state of that piece. So that green piece here means it's going to open up and finish out looking like the red piece there. I think it also has, no, just some like kind of warning stuff like that. Nothing else. So pretty basic there. Getting Salus out of packaging. Here we go. And he looks quite good. He's a nice white color, not off-white or gray, just pretty straight up white. He does feature smoke gray or translucent windows on all four sides. He also features some silver paint around the edges. It was hard for me to even notice, but there is actually silver paint along all the edges here, as well as this kind of trim area. The paint on the front is silver with the headlights. It actually has more paint details, I think, than the original Animus that we saw, the Stealth Animus. You got some black here on the front, some yellow here. I'll have to go back and check, but the other key difference being this light bar, which I've already been told that this is going to be changed. This is going to be a translucent red plastic that's painted white that's going to plug in here. So that's one major change. Again, this is a pre-production sample, so there are going to be some changes. Nice ridge stripe going around the back, some details on the back here, the bumper is silver, as well as the kind of quadruple exhaust pipes, or dual exhaust. So yeah, so that's really it for the alt mode. But let me go ahead and fill in the rest of the kit first before I go on with the review. So here we have Salus back in alt mode with the filler kits installed. And previously I had said with the Stealth Animus that I didn't think the juice was worth the squeeze, in the sense that I didn't think it was worth the time and effort to put these on for him, because it was kind of black holes on a black deco. It was hard to see. But on the black holes with the white deco, as you see with Salus, it's definitely more noticeable, definitely worth doing. Just be careful when you do it, just because they do have specific orientations, and make sure to clean each piece really well in order to get it to do a nice snug fit and not, you know, protrude out or anything like that. But the kits work really well. They do fill in the holes quite nicely. Just be very meticulous about that. I don't have a lot to compare it to because I keep most of my bots in robot mode, but here he is with G2B, one of those figures that I don't really actually display. But I think the overall size works quite well for the MP line. Just another figure, just because I have him, is Voyager Combiner Wars Optimus. You can see it's roughly the same height and length if you don't count these little footsie pieces. But yeah, that's about the same same height and width. So nice looking alt mode. I really like it. Things I didn't notice before is you can actually remove these if you want. They're just pegged in, and you can also rotate them. Just because they're pegged, you can rotate them slightly if that makes it easier for you to transform or anything like that, or the way you like it displayed, you can do that. So yeah, some people wanted the blue windows. I don't get that. That just looks really like tacky to me. But yeah, that's up to you. For me, I think the smoke gray translucent pieces match better with realistic cars, and most of the other MP cars had this. I know they're kind of deviating from that nowadays, especially with the MP Ratchet and Ironhide, but I honestly kind of prefer the darker translucent gray. So let's go ahead and get into alt to robot transformation. The first thing you're going to need to do is come around to the back and open up these side panels, like so. Come on. Once you do that, you're going to flip open these wheels, and they're going to tab into the inside. From here, you're going to unpeg the top. There's two pegs or tabs that plug in there. You're going to extend this and then rotate the heels in. Well, I guess the exhaust pipes that become the heels. Just a quick note, there was a delay in this figure because after the Stealth Animus was out, they had a few issues, or a few not reported issues, with the knees breaking. So they spent time to analyze what was going on, and they said they apparently fixed that, or at least reinforced it. They didn't get so many complaints that it was like a major widespread issue, but they did take the time to go ahead and, you know, evaluate that. So that's supposed to be better this time around. Go ahead and rotate the windshields around that form the toes. Let me zoom out just a little bit more. Yeah, and then you have your feet separated. After you do that, you're going to go ahead and pull out on the side doors, like so. And then once you have that done, you can also deal with these bottom panels. Just open those up, and then rotate. You can split the legs and rotate these down, and they form the shins. One thing to note that I didn't mention before, I mentioned it on the forums before, but I really like the legs much better than the plain block legs that the official MP has. And I really like that they merged the style with the stickers that were on the the original G1 toy. So that's where this kind of octagonal pattern and lines come from. So if you look at the original G1 toy, the stickers had that. So that's where that comes from. I actually like that. Let's see what else. From here, we can go ahead and rotate the entire lower body down. This panel here actually is on a sliding pin. Fold that closed, and when you rotate this up and around and to the inside of the leg, just make sure that these series of swivel joints are all at right angles. So right angle here, right angle there, and right angle here, and that will form the inside of the leg, and that will keep the inside of the leg pegged in correctly. And then you just fold this up. It's the same thing on the other side, making sure to slide this in and around. You're gonna extend this while rotating this around, like so. Again, making sure you got right angles everywhere, because if it's not a right angle, it's a wrong angle. I forget what TV show that's from. Alright, and that tabs in multiple places on the inside as well as the outside. Fold in the calf area. So this doesn't tab in, but it does sit very securely. It makes really nice legs. And I like how the wheel wells are filled in as well. Alright, so now coming to the upper body, you're going to untab these tabs up here on the arms and rotate these down. We're going to deal with them in a bit. Come to the front, there are tabs holding in the front bumper, and then you want to separate them. And when you separate them, you'll see that this little black piece, it sits on the inside of this kind of rail, not rail piece, I don't know, this little plastic piece. You're going to pull forward to free that from here. You can see it comes out. So, from here, you're going to come behind this side view mirror, and you're going to want to pull that away from the front of the car, and that releases that little tab. Same thing on this side. There we go. And then this whole upper body piece, or whole roof, swings. Oh, sorry, I gotta open up the arms first. So, untab the arms, swing them around to the side. I guess while you're doing that, you can take care of the front as well. The front will actually tab in like that into the ab area. So yeah, once you get the arms around, bring this down, come in, pull out the head, rotate this on this joint here, goes 180. Reminds me of MP Tracks, although actually I guess this mold came out first. The wheels, you need to position them so they're not flush with the outside of the car. You're going to actually make use of these really tight ratchets here on this double hinge to get it out to sit like this. Same thing on the other side. Okay, so when you fold these pieces in, you'll see, let me get that. You'll see a little slot here next to this R or L on that side. That's going to go into this T tab here. And to get that to fit correctly, you're going to want to fold this in, but there's actually a double hinge here. And you want to get it at a right angle again. Remember, if it's not a right angle, it's a wrong angle. So if it's like this, then you're good, and then you can tab that in. Otherwise, you're going to have problems getting the backpack to sit correctly, and that's the #1 issue most people have had about this. And then you fold this bumper around. Again, making sure that this hinge is at a perfect right angle. Tab that in, close this up, and when you fold in the sides, you'll see that they go in and leave a gap that is filled in by this little piece there. Oh, at this point, if you want to store the gun in alt mode, you have to kind of get this little piece out. So you're going to want to push on that, and that will release a little slot here. So we'll just do that just so we can save time later. Rotate these back in. So once you have the side pieces taken care of, come around to the top, and you're going to push up on this double hinge where the ratchet piece is in there, deep inside. And make sure that the backpack is compressed all the way, like the sides are pressed in all the way. And that will allow you to get the backpack in completely tightly. So these side pieces should sit inside of this gray piece, I believe. And it should kind of look like this from the back. Fold in these pieces if you haven't already, and then close this up like so. And then from here, you can rotate the neck panel down on top. And you'll know you did it right, because when that neck panel sits down, it should be flush with this side piece and sit basically right on top of the roof. That's how you know you got it right. Okay, if you didn't, follow my instructions again. These pieces should kind of be lined up with what people are calling these kind of rails. They shouldn't sit on top of it, from what I can tell. I guess you could get them situated on top, but it has to be kind of in that position. Those inner sidewalls need to be like that. Let's take care of the arm before. So this roof piece will push back. I'm going to open up the panel on the front in a very MP-ish style. A lot of third parties using the panel arm covers now. Rotate the fist out, close that up. Same thing on the other side. Push this piece back. Rotate the fist out, close it up. And there you go. That is transformation to robot mode for Salus. And I still really like this mold. A lot of people have said that they don't like this mold for various reasons. I'm not really sure why. Some people complained about the plastic. I think the plastic is really solid. I don't think it's like, you know, fans toys style, but I think it's in line with a lot of the mid to high tier figures, like some of the MMC stuff. Maybe not as good as MMC, but in the ballpark, and some of the fans project stuff. So I think it looks really good. Some people complained about the A stance. Someone on the boards mentioned that while there are definite ratchets, you can kind of force your way in between the ratchets, and that seems to work okay. Mine, it works all right. You do have to fiddle with it a bit to make sure it doesn't go back into a particular ratchet space. It was actually working before, but of course on camera it's not going to work. Yeah, something like this. Yeah, so it does work. I don't know that it's that big a deal that the ratchets are this far apart. They're about shoulder width apart, which I think is a pretty standard stance. But if you want, you can also make use of the knee joints to kind of make it look a bit smaller. So as far as accessories go, he has two handguns. One is in this nice silver painted gun, which is very ratchetish. And then this one is the other handgun. This one is molded in kind of like gray, kind of blue, like dark blue, slate blue. So it's different. It's not black like the previous Stealth Animus. And they both feature those MP style tabs. So once you actually go in and open up the hand of Salus, you can rotate this in, close it up. There we go. That's very secure. And before we put that one in, you can use the little slot back here to tab it in. It sits securely, but I think it looks kind of goofy. It's nice that it's there for people who want storage, but I don't find it particularly necessary. And you can kind of see it hanging up on the back, which is a kind of a nice look, I guess. Kind of has a little antenna backpack or something. I don't know. So this is what he looks like. Let's go ahead and bring out Stealth Animus to kind of give you an idea of what he looks like with the version of Ironhide, the mold. So a few quick differences. The crotch is different. So Ironhide always had kind of a diamond shape on his crotch. So they did do a mold change for that. They also did a different face. So with Ironhide, people complain about the head sculpt on this Ironhide. I don't really know why. They said they didn't like the lines, but I went back and looked, and a lot of times Ironhide had these lines on his cheek. So if you don't like it, that's your preference, but it definitely is accurate. And then Ratchet features a slightly different one. The lines go right into the bottom of the eye, as opposed to going around to the sides of the eye, like Ironhide here. With a Carbot, just to change things up, I brought in Smokescreen instead of Prowl. So considerably taller. And then the required MP10 comparison. And I think this height is actually pretty accurate. He's supposed to come up to about mid-shoulder, which is where he's coming up to right now. I guess if I straightened out both their legs, that'd be more accurate, but yeah, he comes up just about mid-shoulder, like mid shoulder there. So I think that's pretty accurate. Some people think it's a little too tall, but it looks like from pictures that the MP Ratchet is even taller than this. Other people didn't like the windshield feet. I don't really mind them. I think it gives it some breakup in color, which is nice. I like the Red Cross C kind of logos on the shoulders, not the weird Autobot symbol emblazoned one that they have on the official MP. That just looks kind of ridiculous, but obviously they have to be worried about copyright or trademark infringement. Well, third party obviously don't. He does have nice metallic blue eyes. He does have a ball jointed head. And then if you make use of that panel, he can get some more down. He has already a decent amount of motion, but up and down is kind of restricted. But yeah, if you use that panel, you should be good. His shoulders are softly ratcheted. This one's really kind of squeaky. Ratchet going out. He does have a bicep swivel. He has a soft ratcheted bicep bend, which was kind of weird. It kind of acts like a double jointed elbow, which he does have ratcheted elbows. Sorry about all the squeakiness. He has a wrist swivel. It's on a post, a mushroom peg. He does have a bit of ab crunch. Not a lot when you tab this in, but as I showed in my previous review, if you actually undo that set of tabs and put it out to the front, you can get a lot of ab crunch. Yeah, like he can basically be bending down. But yeah, if you don't do that, if you don't tab it in, you do get these kind of unsightly tabs. So it's up to you. Depending on the pose you want to do, you may want to slide that in, may not. He does have his little waist covers that are on a swivel. His legs are on ratchets. They go about, I don't know, 80 degrees forward, not very much backwards because he runs into some interference up here. He does have ratchets going out this way, all the way 90 degrees. He has a small bit of thigh swivel, or hip swivel, whatever you want to call it there. He does have knee swivel all the way around. Ankles, he does have a decent ankle tilt. Actually, really good ankle tilt both ways. He has a little bit of forward and a little bit of back because of the inside of his leg here being all sorts of mechanisms going along here. So he has some ratcheted ankle going on. And then he has that separate toe articulation, which is also ratcheted. That was for transformation. And then he has some heel. So yeah, lots of articulation on this guy. Oh, the hands. So the hands are kind of MP10-ish in that he has a separate pointer finger with a separate piece of articulation, and his 3 other fingers are just one molded piece that are pinned. The good part is that the pointer finger is pinned, so you're not going to lose it like Soundwave or MP10. And then he has a ball jointed thumb, which allows you to swivel up and downwards and all around. Alright, so that's really it for robot mode. Let's go ahead and get this guy transformed back into alt mode. Alright, to get Salus transformed back into alt mode, we're going to go ahead and start with the fists. Make sure the fists are curled up like so, with the thumb rotated downwards and the fist kind of all balled up. I'm going to open this panel. Oh, really quickly, people are asking why this is so loose. Mine seem to be fine, but if you want to tighten them up, there's actually a little screw inside here that you can use a small Phillips head and tighten that up if it keeps flopping down on you. Same thing on both sides. What you're going to want to do is rotate the arms so that they're rotate 90 degrees inwards like this. Come along to the back. Rotate the head forward on that neck panel. Go ahead and extend that up. Rotate the head in for now. Let's see, we'll deal with the backpack. So coming around to the back, you're going to deal with one side first. Just pull down the bumper, expand these sections all the way out like so, and then take care of the wheel by getting it rotated around so that it's flush with the side of the car. Same thing on the other side. Open the bumper up, extend all that out, and then get the wheel back down like so. We're going to go ahead and flip these little tiny panels out, rotate this thing 180, and then kind of flip it all up like so. And then these tabs here have corresponding sections up there. Flip this little piece down if you were using it to store your weapons. And this is all going to kind of sit like this. If I can get that tab in correctly. Alright, we'll worry about that in a bit. While we do that, we'll rotate the shoulders in and then peg the 2 halves together. There's a series of tabs. We're going to go rotate this up for now. There's just a couple more tab slots, like that. Oops. This piece sometimes sneaks in there, so just make sure it stays out. So dealing with the sides of the car or van, you're going to go ahead and make use of that small translucent tab to come behind the side view mirror. It needs to go underneath, like so. Come around to the front, make sure this bumper piece clears and sits on the inside of that. And then this is going to tab into the other half of the bumper and then go upwards. So same thing on this side. Go ahead, get this slid underneath and behind. Make sure this bumper clears. There's a tab that tabs the 2 bumper pieces together, and then 2 tabs here that go into the top of the bumper. That. Alright, now with the lower body, you're going to go ahead and rotate this up. Then we can deal with the 2 halves. Let's just flip. Actually, it's probably easier to do this first before we flip it up. So go ahead and open these calf panels up and start untabbing the 2 halves. The inner leg, like so. The outer leg, or I guess the opposite, the outer leg and then the inner leg. Another problem people tend to have is getting this rotated back out. You just need to kind of extend this as far out as possible. So you kind of lengthen it, like, what's going on? Oh, there we go. So yeah, you kind of lengthen it like that, and then rotate it up and around. Like this. Open up this side view mirror, push it back down on that joint, and then you're gonna kind of collapse it in on those joints. Same thing on the other side. Untab the outer and inner leg. With the inner leg, go ahead and push up and out on this hinge. That'll give you the room to rotate this all the way around like so. Like that. Go ahead and deal with the shins as well. The shins, you're going to want to rotate it up. This tab or peg will go into that peg hole. Same thing on the other side. Make sure the knees are rotated straight if you use them for any kind of positioning in alt mode. Rotate the knee joints around, and then you can go ahead and kind of peg the two halves together. And there's a series of tabs and slots on both sides. Go ahead and deal with this by rotating the toe around on both feet, flipping the heel to reveal the exhaust pipes. Go ahead and peg the two halves of the feet together. Like that. Alright, so now we can go ahead and rotate the lower body upwards, like so. And what you're going to do is first deal with the front, or the side, the front door, I guess, or side door. There we go. On both sides. There's just a series of tabs on the top here, the side here, that keep that all secured in place. You're going to want to come to the back and then collapse the feet, and then make use of those tabs up here that go into the slots, like so. And then you're going to want to use this double hinge to rotate this back. There's also a series of tabs. Oh, sorry, forgot the wheel. That would help. Untab the wheel, rotate that down. And then those series of tabs are going to lock everything into place on that rear panel. And unless I forgot something, I'm not sure why this is not. Okay, there we go. But yeah, if you work this out and fidget with it a bit, you'll probably get it a little bit cleaner than this. But just for the review, I think that is good enough. So final thoughts on VooDoo Robots Salus. I think it is a really great representation of an MP Ratchet. As far as alt mode goes, I don't really care about alt modes all that much. I think it does a pretty good job. It does have a bit of kibble down here. I guess in the same kind of vein as MP Trax has kibble on the bottom of his alt mode. I guess it's not terrible, but it could. I guess it could be better. But the rest of the alt mode looks really good. I like the smoke gray windows as opposed to the kind of blue windows that the official MP version of this mold is going to get. Not of this mold, of this character is going to get. As far as robot mode, I think the Salus and Ironhide or Animus look way better than the official ones. We'll see when it actually comes out. I'll do a more detailed comparison once they come out. But just the overall proportions on these guys, I think, look way better. I do wish there was a little bit more articulation in the hips, but it's not terrible, and it makes up for it with a lot of other articulation in the legs and elsewhere. As far as the backpack, that's one thing I was hoping that they would have been able to fix between the stealth version of Animus and the Salus version, which is unfortunate, but it's not terrible, like I said in my review, but it would have been nice to have a more definitive kind of like tab in for that backpack. The filler kit is a nice inclusion. It definitely was kind of a pain to do, but it's nice that they included it, and it definitely makes the alt mode look better. As far as my overall thoughts, I don't have any qualms recommending this figure. I think it is a little bit on the pricey side, but given that the official MP is about $90 or something like that, I don't think this is too bad of a price. It would have been nice if we got a little bit more accessories than just the two guns here with this figure, since the official MP comes with a lot of stuff. But yeah, those are my final thoughts on VooDoo Robots Salus. Again, this is a pre-production sample, so there are things that might change before the final release in mid-December. I think that's what they said. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to keep up to date with all my news and reviews, go ahead and click that subscribe button that is floating around with my P4L reviews logo. Or follow me on Facebook at Pick for Life Reviews. If you want to add this guy to your collection, go ahead and click on the Toy Dojo link in the description below. And with that, hopefully that was informative and help you make a decision on where you want to go with your MP Ratchet. Alright? Thanks a lot, everyone. Have a good one.